Get chasing better, no matter where I go. I want you to know.
Well, what's up, everybody? Good to see you on this Thursday. It is March 30th, and today's a big day. It is opening day of baseball season, which is one of the best days of the year. I love the Cubs. Got my Cubs hat on for those of you that are watching on YouTube or uh, checking it out anywhere where you can see. For those of you that are listening on podcast, you'll have to take my word for it. I am sporting the Cubs today because I always do on opening day. It's kind of a tradition. And I wanted to share just a little bit today about just kind of more of a feel good story. I don't think this is going to be extremely long today, but kind of a feel good story. I feel like there's so many good things going on in the world in spite of a whole lot of chaos and uncertainty and stress and anxiety and worry and fear and loneliness, that there is good in the world. And kind of a cool story that I remember from when I was 9 years old that really um just emphasizes the need and importance to be a good person and to go out of your way to make someone's day. And when you do that, that person will just not forget that. I've always loved baseball. Always. I've loved baseball ever since I was a little kid. I've loved playing baseball. I remember the first time that I was taken to Wrigley Field, probably 5 or 6 years old, with my dad, just getting out into at Wrigley and just being in awe and looking at the scoreboard and watching the players and hearing Van Halen's Jump playing as they ran out onto the field. Um, from the crack of the bat to the sound of a ball cracking into a leather glove to birds chirping and uh, peanut vendors and uh, the beer guys and keeping score, all of it. I love baseball, love the Cubs, and I love the experience. And it really is a happy place for me. It's just a place where I can go and feel like I can just disappear and just be. And I love that. Um, when I was growing up in Northern Illinois, obviously I was a Cubs fan, but just outside of where I lived, there was this uh, bigger town called Rockford, and they had a minor league baseball team. And Rockford, I thought of this story because I saw that there was a player that I knew who this player was, but a few weeks ago, this player announced his retirement. His name's Sergio Romo. Sergio Romo was a pitcher primarily for the Giants. And I remember him mainly because he was the pitcher during 2016 that the Cubs faced, and they placed the Giants in the first round of the playoffs. They were, and to clinch the playoff series win against the Giants, they came back in the ninth inning, scored like 4 runs to take the lead. And the pitcher that was pitching against the Cubs at that time was Sergio Romo. And I didn't know much about him other than that, but I just saw that, he just announced his retirement, and he showed a picture of his hat. He had his spring training hat, and when he turned his hat around, it had a signature of probably 30 or 40 kids inside of his hat. And what happened was, obviously, if you've ever gone to a baseball game before or after the game, players line up to give autographs, and they don't have to do that, but it's just something that's nice to do, just have interactions. Which I feel like the baseball's such a great experience, especially for kids. Like, there's these like assholes literally that are, they call them ball hawks, like these people that just go and try to get foul balls and keep them and sell them, or get autographs for the purpose of selling or whatever. And I just am of the, it's about the kid experience. If I ever get a chance to get a ball at a college game or whatever, I always give it to a kid. It's just what I do. It doesn't mean I'm better than you, except it does. Um, anyway, anytime a kid this spring would go up to Sergio Romo and ask him to sign their hat or sign a ball, he would sign it and then ask the kid if the kid would sign his hat. And inside that hat are the autographs of all the kids that signed his hat that year. And I thought that was such a cool thing. I mean, as a kid, like if somebody asks you like for your autograph, that's such a crazy thing. Like I've signed things, you know, by books or whatever. And it's a surreal thing because you like you see you know your flaws, and for somebody to come up to you and ask for you to sign something is a very humbling thing. Um, and I just thought that was cool, you know. And he announced his retirement, showed his hat, and it reminded me of a interaction that I had when I was 9 years old. And it was kind of a cool thing. Like how this all got started was I saw on like a Fox Sports Facebook post or something this story, and I commented under that. I'll never forget when I was 9 years old and I went to a Rockford Expos baseball game, and I asked a player to sign my hat, and he said he would sign it if I signed his, and I did. And I don't remember much about the guy except for that his name was Rod. And I said that in the story, and there was this guy, like literally this post that I or this comment was liked thousands and thousands of times, and there was this guy that said he was invested in the story, and he went back and looked at the roster of the Rockford Expos all the way through the 80s and 90s about the, because I don't remember the exact year it was, but it turns out it was 1989 because it was the only year that anybody named Rod played for the Rockford Expos. And he was like, his name's Rod Body, and he is now an attorney somewhere in North Carolina. Sure enough, somebody found his like profile for what he does, and it said something along the lines of, you know, I'm an attorney. I played 3 years of minor league baseball, and being an attorney is tough, but it's not as tough as hitting a slider. Something like that. And it was just kind of a cool thing how many people were invested in that. And I hope one day to be able to have an interaction with Rod to let him know how much of an impact that made on a 9-year-old little boy that never forgot that. I'll be 43 in a couple of months. And I'll never forget that time. And he didn't have to do that. Right. And you know what? I'm not naive enough to think that he didn't do that for other kids also. I hope he did. Um, all I know is that I asked him to sign my hat. He did. He asked me to sign his, and I did. And he wore that hat to the game. I'll never forget that. I will never, ever, ever, ever forget that as long as I live. And it just goes to show how much of an impact you can make that doesn't cost you anything by just going out of your way today to do something that somebody else won't forget. It doesn't take a lot of money. It just takes noticing. It takes noticing. It takes seeing. It takes getting out of your own way. Like I feel like one thing that I do when I'm at my best is see people. And sometimes it's really hard to see people when all you can see is your problems right in front of you, your stresses, your worries, your fears. It just makes you focus on whatever that is that you're focusing on, but removing that and seeing the world as it is. It really is a good world. And, you know, I've heard this said in different ways, but, you know, the fact is, hummingbirds and vultures, two different birds, both of them look for different things, and each of them find whatever it is they're looking for every day. Vultures find things that are dead, and hummingbirds find things that are alive. Each of them find exactly what they're looking for. And I feel that if you are looking for bad in the world, you don't have to look hard to find it. It's everywhere. Open your social media apps, turn on the news, go drive your flipping car for 5 seconds and sit at a four-way stop and have everybody just lose their minds trying to figure out who goes first. I mean, it does not take a lot to look for the things that are wrong. But if you want to find things that are good, if you want to find things that are inspiring, if you want to make someone's day, you can find those opportunities too. And Rod did that for 9-year-old Corey, and I hope to be able to do that for a lot of people moving forward. I hope that I have done that for people, and I hope to continue to do that moving forward. So just wanted to share that story. Happy opening day. Go Cubs, go. This is Corey. This has been Chasing Better. Hope you've had a great experience. If this was something that you enjoyed listening to, like, share, subscribe, all of the things. And I will see you next time.
See no more fears or moved by peers. I dry my tears, 'cause